Such a good boy, Max. Give folks a minute or two to join. Yeah, we're sitting out. Yeah, Max, we're sitting out on the patio. Enjoying a little bit of sun today. If you're joining, make sure you let us know in the comments. Hi, Jocelyn. Yes, we are live, Max. Jocelyn's here. Isn't that awesome? That is so awesome. Okay, I'll just sit here. Yeah, we missed our stream yesterday because we had the Parrot Club barbecue, right, Max? It was exciting. You had fun there, didn't you, Max? You sure did. You made all the friends in the world. Oh, loud truck. Yeah, if you're joining us, walk up in the chat. Let us know you're here. How are you today, Jocelyn? Oh boy, Max. Yeah, it's coffee time. You tired after your adventure yesterday, buddy? You sure had fun. Hi, Bookshare. Yeah, we were at the Parrot Club barbecue yesterday, hanging out with all the friends from the Calgary Parrot Club. Greta's Roost was there, Parrot SOS was there, Parrot Trends was there, your friend Gizmo was there. If you caught Gizmo's stream, you might have seen Max on it too. Yeah, we were busy, weren't we, Max? Yes, Kara, today is Einstein's Hatch Day, and that happens in a couple of hours' time. I think they go live in 3 hours at their Hatch Day party. That's why we popped up now a little bit in advance, just to have a little bit of a stream ourselves. Anne-Marie is joining us from Hartford, Connecticut. Shout out to Anne-Marie. Hi, Bianca. Hi, Cheeky Max, Max, and Momager, all the way from Perth, Australia. Wow. My goodness, Max. Yeah, we're just out on the patio enjoying a bit of sunshine. My morning coffee. Max loves it out here. There's always so much activity. Yeah, Max. Yeah, so fun. So fun. Oh, there goes somebody walking. I don't think there's a problem. He's got a dog with him. He didn't bark for that dog. Forgot to tell the dog all about the news. I know. Yeah, you're awesome. Did you have fun yesterday, buddy? Saw all your friends. It was absolutely amazing. We had, the number of people coming for the barbecue was incredible. Raised more than we have previous years, which is fantastic. It really was great. We had friends travel from afar. We had somebody drive down all the way from Red Deer, another person from Brooks. We're posting a video of one of our fans by the name of Halen, and I hope I remembered that and said it correctly, Halen. She's in university, and she drove down with her dad all the way from Brooks. It was amazing to meet her, right, Max? And she knew the secret. She walked up to us, gave us a buck, and we gave her a sticker, right, Max? Yeah, because we've said that if you run into us in the wild, walk up, give us a big buck, and you never know what's going to happen. We might have something for you. Not guaranteed, but if we've got stickers with us, you might get a free sticker. If you want stickers, the other way to get stickers, of course, is to order through our Etsy store. Costs are pretty low there, and we will ship them anywhere in the world. But if you do run into us in the wild, and we've got A, pockets with us, B, we're out on an outing, and C, you know the secret from watching our streams, and you balk at us, if we've got stickers for you, we will reach into our pockets and give you one. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it is kind of fun. Bookshire loves your brothers too, Max. Yes. Oh, big scratch. Yeah, we got a big. Oh, there's a new feather coming in. I'm just going to show you folks. You see how it comes in and that was not nice. That was something flying by that had yellow and black stripes. It just buzzed Max. He retreated, I retreated. Now, where was that feather I wanted to preen? I was showing you a new feather that comes in a feather shaft. And it sort of looks like the aglet of a shoelace. Max is saying, leave me alone now, Mom. I'll go after it later. I didn't pull a feather or anything. I retreat pretty quick when there's something going on. And I did not like Mr. Black and Yellow, neither did Max. And we both recoiled, which is a good thing. I'm always worried that Max is going to snap at a bee or a wasp, and I'm going to be the one that gets stung. Hi, Fran. Vote Max 2028. What do you think, Max? Max for president or Max for prime minister? What is it going to be, Betty? I know. What his slogans be? Bach? Yep. Hi, Stephen. Lola. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, that is kind of fun. Isn't it, Max? What do you think, Max? Is that fun? Yes. My goodness, that feels so good, that breeze. We got a little bit of shade here. I've got these trees here that cast a little bit of shade. They're Colmar aspens. And the sun's sort of moving a little bit behind them and sort of giving us a little bit of variable shade. And then once the sun moves a little further, I'll pop up our big umbrella. Yeah. When I say big, it's only 7.5 feet, so it's one of the smallest umbrellas. But we have just a tiny, tiny patio here, folks. I mean, I'm sitting at the back of it, and there's our patio, right? You know, you've seen it before. It's not that big, but it's just big enough for Max and me, right? Can fit 4 people around the table. And then there's no room for a tripod, right, buddy? Anne-Marie says, belated happy 50th hatchbay to TCal. Thank you. Does everybody know that we have a special hatchiversary coming up in a couple of weeks? July the 1st. July 1st has a couple of different meanings in Canada. It's Canada Day, but more importantly, it's Max's hatchiversary. So July 1st is the day that we're going to celebrate his 31st hatchiversary. And I bet you're getting excited about that, Max, aren't you? Getting excited? Yeah, Max. And what we're asking this year for Max's hatchiversary, we're running a GoFundMe for our friends over at Greta's Roost, which is a local parrot rescue. The work that parrot rescues do is very, very important. Right, Max? Yeah? Help out birds like you who need to be rehomed. Well, Max, he kind of helped rehome himself when he landed with me. But a lot of birds end up in rescues, especially birds like Max, where... Oh, there goes a fire truck, buddy. Do you see the fire truck? One fire truck. No sirens. But a lot of times birds like Max, his first home he spent 10 years in, and he ended up living in a basement. He was biting, he was screaming, he hated life, he hated the world, he was angry. He wasn't getting enough attention, he was a bit food insecure when he came, as he showed me by actions, and you just could not handle him. Now, totally, totally different. Come on up, Max. Do you need to? It's the hook this here. Oops. Sorry, folks. Just doing this. Do you need to go poop, Max? Go poop. Super pooper. Super pooper. Are you super pooper, Max? Or were you just dusting yourself? Well, apparently he's comfortable now. Danny says the 2nd of July is their day. Ah, awesome, Danny. Happy early hatchiversary. Danny says not sharing with any parrots. Well, I was talking a bit about rescues, but, birds like Max, when they, through no fault of their own, they get adopted and it's not the right fit. Somebody gets bored, somebody's no longer able to give them the attention that they need, they no longer fit in the lifestyle. It's actually amazing how many of the small conures and the small cakes end up in rescue within 6 months. They say that the average cockatoo is in 5 homes in the first couple of years. And that just boggles my mind. These are big, beautiful birds. They are not something you pick up on the buy and sell page and you pass on to somebody else when you get bored. They are for life, right, Max? Do you want to step here again onto my knee? Oh, no, knee, not the space in between my knees. There you go. Good job, buddy. Yeah, you get a nice bit of shade there. They really are amazing. But that's why the rescues need some help. And that's why for Max's 31st hatchiversary, we're asking for donations to the GoFundMe we are running for Greta's Roost. The rescues do a great job. A lot of birds, what they do when they get a bird in, they take them to the vet, make sure they're healthy, they settle them in, they get to know a little bit more about the bird. And, if you're ever dropping a bird at a rescue, go in and tell them the truth about the situation. One story I've heard from rescues, and I know the person that this happened to at a rescue. They had a bird dropped off, and the person dropped off the bird inside of a cage and says, we can't quite care for him anymore, and he's the sweetest thing, loves everybody in the family. And when they dropped him off, they also dropped off a stick with him to help, with the carrier and no cage. But they thought that was a little bit odd. And they let him out of the carrier, and he was an unholy little terror. They got him settled into a cage, and then they opened up the binder that was dropped off with him. And the binder the very first page of the binder was, "I'm sorry. I fear for my kid's life. We can no longer have this bird in our house." And what the rescue said about that is, you know what? Tell us that. So when we are bringing that bird into intake, we know where to place the bird. We know what the bird needs, and we are prepared. We'll figure it out pretty quick ourselves, but the more preparation you can give, the better. You can always be honest with the rescue. Right, Max? They won't disclose what you said to them to the news or anything. You're not going to get in trouble for it. But what they will do is they will add that to the bird's history. They'll use that. Okay, Max, that is a bumblebee. He just flew off. Okay, it's just a big bumble. Yeah, we leave bumblebees alone and they leave us alone, right? We're getting into the shade a little too much. So what I'm going to do here, Max, just bear with me for a minute, folks. I'm just going to move and move. Oops. Oh, I do have a tripod out here. I'll just put the tripod where I can reach it. So I can grab it. Sorry, folks. When I'm moving, it's a little bit easier to just move the phone for a minute. There we go. Now we are back here. Step Max there. A little bit more sun for Max. A bit more shade for me. But the rescues will use that information to help situate the bird. They know what kind of help the bird needs. If a bird comes in that is not very well adapted, they're going to help counsel that bird and get them settled. There are some birds that come in for the rescues that cannot be adopted. Quite often, those are the birds who are seniors with really, really complex medical needs. And the distressing point about that is, if you've got a bird that's on 3 medications, has a lot of medical needs, you could be spending $1,000 a month just on the medical needs and the vetting. And most people will not adopt a bird with that kind of need. So what happens is the rescues end up supporting that bird either through a supported foster situation, and they make sure that bird has the best life possible. But, rescuing is not a job for the weak, and it is very, very expensive. Right, Max? Yeah. Hey, Raising Cane's here. But yeah, one thing I really, really love about the rescues is when they adopt their birds out, they make sure that they get to know a little bit about the adopters. They educate the adopter so the adopter knows what to expect. And they're not going to sugarcoat it for you. They're going to say these birds are noisy, these birds are messy, and it is a lifetime commitment. And, it's not going to be, they're not going to surprise you and dump you a bird that's really badly behaved. They're going to say to you, we're going to do this. Most rescues, every rescue does things a little bit differently, but most rescues, when they first place a bird with you, they're going to say, okay, here we go. We're going to start with this bird. We think it's a good match. We think and have everything to support this bird. That was loud. And what they're going to do is they're going to say, if we're going to give a 90-day period of time, and if for whatever reason it's not working out or the bird's not settling, you're not, we're going to ask that you work with somebody like Parrot SOS, and the rescues have an arrangement with Parrot SOS where they include some counseling to help you settle with the bird. They're going to say, we're going to ask you to do this. And if it's not working out, we're going to ask you to bring the bird back to us, and we will refund your adoption fee, usually less a portion. Maybe it's a percentage, maybe they keep the administrative portion of it, but they're going to work with you. And that's one thing I absolutely love about the rescues, because sometimes it just seems like it's going to be a dream and it turns into a nightmare. Sometimes you realize that birds are not for you. Sometimes you realize that, this is just not working. And the rescues are really, really good about making sure birds are properly placed. But talking about the rescues, I was talking a little bit about the GoFundMe that we are running for Greta's Roost. And I noticed that Sharon, our moderator, Raising Cane's here. I'm going to ask her if she can just paste that link into the comments. If you don't have the link available, just send people to our website, www.maxthemoluccan.com. We've got information on Max's 31st birthday fundraiser, and what we're asking people. Now, we're not asking you to mortgage your house. We're asking for a donation, a small donation, what's affordable. And, even the cost of a cup of coffee makes a difference. Other thing, our goals in that fundraiser are Canadian dollars. So that means if you are donating US dollars, it makes a big difference, because if you donate $5 US, that's $7.50 Canadian. Actually, I think it's a bit more than that. I don't have the exchange rate in front of me, but if you donate in US dollars, it's a lot more than the Canadian dollars. Same with British pounds. So it makes a really big difference. You're scooting about. Do you need to go poop, honey? You can go poop there. And let me just catch your cord. There. Do you need to go poop? Go poop. You poop. You don't need to go poop. Yeah. Sep. Okay. Well, I'm going to leave my arm here. You stood on my arm for hours yesterday. Thanks for posting that, Sharon. But I'm going to ask something else. If you are not in a position where you can help us out with the GoFundMe, I'm going to ask for something that doesn't cost any money. I'm going to ask that you share it on social media and say, hey, our friend Max the Moluccan, and there goes a police vehicle. Our friend Max the Moluccan is raising funds for Parrot Rescue. Can you help support? Just give it a share. And, when you see comments and when you see posts about the fundraiser, give it a like, give it a comment, say, hey, this is such a great thing, support it, because that helps us show the fundraiser to more people. The algorithm will show it to more people. So even just liking and sharing and commenting can help. But donations, I mean, we'd love big donations, but even a cup of coffee would help. If you donate the equivalent of your morning cup of Starbucks to the rescue, that makes a big difference. So I am going to be talking a lot about this fundraiser for the next couple of weeks. And I'm really hoping that we can hit our goal around Max's birthday. I know that's really, really lofty, but I have a lot of faith in the power of flock. Yeah, Carrie, there's actually, yeah, that would be fantastic if you can share that out on your Facebook. That would be absolutely fantastic. 'Cause the more eyes we get on the fundraiser, the better off we are. Yeah. And I'm posting about it on all platforms. You know, I sort of started a little bit slow with T-Cal's birthday, but as we're coming up on Max's 31st in a couple of weeks, we're going to be talking a lot more about it. Oscar's joining us. Oscar says, I have a cockatoo like that. His name is Santiago. And another smaller bird whose name is Maurice. That's so awesome, Oscar. Hello, hello, Santiago. Yes, Emily, you caught alive. Oh my goodness. How did that happen? No, we started 21 minutes ago, but you are still here and we are still live. It's awesome. Yeah. Now, so we'll talk a little bit about the fundraising barbecue yesterday. We were out there with the Calgary Parrot Club, and we were helping promote it the week coming up on it. Right, Max? Yes. We went to CTV News for the morning show and did that. We were on the morning show Wednesday morning. If you want to watch the segment, I was joined by my friend Brian at his flock from the Parrot Club as well. If you want to watch the segment or some of the background info, we've got some videos up, and the segment itself is linked in our posts on the community page and off of our website, www.maxthemoluccan.com. Now, why do we sort of do that weird thing where we share it in the news on our website, especially on Facebook? Why do we not just post the link? It's because we are in Canada, and Meta has a ban on anyone in Canada posting any news articles, which is super frustrating. So we cannot share news articles and we cannot see news articles. Super frustrating. So our workaround is we post the link that we are allowed to share, namely our own website, and we link the news article off of that. The other bit of fun is our website does have some other articles and places where we've been in the news. It's got previous TV appearances, right, Max? What you looking at? Previous TV appearances. It's got our article from Newsweek where you were selected best dressed. Yes, that was you. Lots of fun. Sorry about your loss, Emily. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the barbecue was a lot of fun. That was yesterday. We did that instead of our regular live stream. We did do a quick pop-up live, but it was only a couple of minutes. Our phone was having terrible connection problems. Like, it was really, really jumpy and not that good. So we only went for about 3 minutes. Right, Max? Yeah, it wasn't very much at all. I know. But we did go live, so that was kind of fun. We've got lots of video from the event, and I think that's fun. Our friend Gizmo was there, and Gizmo went live from the event. You'll see Max on those videos. Max made friends with Kyle. You sat on Kyle, and what did Kyle say? He said, "Oh my goodness, you are heavy." He was kind of surprised by you, wasn't he? BMX rider doing a wheelie down a public pathway again. Yeah, we've got a number of seniors who live around here, and we're seeing some of it happening on the pathway and knocking seniors over, which is not a cool thing. I know, buddy, I know. Oh boy. Oscar says his cockatoo, Santiago, likes watching Max. Yeah. Yeah. No, we had some fun at the barbecue. Max made some new friends. We had a little incident, though, with the police. Max, did you get in trouble for stealing a grape? Oh, you didn't steal it. It was given to you. Okay. Now, that's okay then. It was given to you. So that was your grape then. Yeah. So what did the police want? Oh, you tried to arrest the police. You stepped on the arm, posed for a photo, and wouldn't let go. You were like a little pair of handcuffs. Max really, really, really liked the police officer. I swear, he looked at me and said, Mom, can we take him home? It really, really was great. He was he took it with a lot of grace. Now, Max occasionally will get stubborn and say, I'm not stepping off. And that's what happened there. Max said, hey, I kind of like this perch and I like this person. I'm not done yet. And usually we let him stay as long as he wants to before he's ready. Now, Max sometimes does that with me as well. He's on my arm. I take him back to a perch or something. He says, no, Mom, I'm great here. I'm happy here. And if I really need to put him in the cage, what I do is I just walk around in a circle, take him back to the cage, and by that time he usually forgets that he said no. If I try to fight with him about it, he's going to get really stubborn and nobody's going to win, and we're just going to fracture the bond of trust. So Max said no, and what I do if he ever does that with somebody else, he says, I'm not ready to get off, and he needs to be ready to get off. Usually waiting 5 minutes is fine, but these folks had to be somewhere. Usually what I'll do is I will step into the person's personal space in between Max and the person, and then Max looks at me and says, oh, you're taking away my people. Oh, there's people there, Max. Yeah, you saw people. Yeah. You're all talked out. I'm over here, hon. Okay. But this did not seem like a really, really good idea, because I looked at the officer and realized that his vest was just full of pepper spray, guns, and everything else, and he probably didn't want me stepping in between him and the bird and getting into the space there. I've watched enough crime shows on TV to know that that's really not a good idea. So Max had been saying no to Brian earlier, but sometimes changing the channel for Max works. So I said, hey, Brian, come over here. So Brian handed his birds over to Robin from Parrot SOS, walked over, and Max looked. And I said, hey, Max, you got your choice here. You got 3 people. You're going to have to step off of one of them and come to one of the other 2. He said, oh, there's Brian. Maybe I'll be friends with Brian. And then from Brian, he said, oh, Mom, I'll just hop over to you. Little brat. But he really, really likes guys in uniform. Right, Betty? Yeah. Yeah. So today is a very special day, Canada and the U.S. What day is it, Max? Is it Feathers Day? Oh, it's Father's Day. Yeah, Max. Whoop. I'm sorry. Did I startle you? Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? I reached my hand over his head and he was not ready for it. So what happened is he grabbed in really hard with his feet as he started to lose his balance and said, what the flock, Mom? And now my coffee has all sorts of white stuff floating in it. I'm just going to pour that out because I do not like drinking cockatoo powder. And now my coffee cup's empty. Max, I like that coffee. I was enjoying that coffee. Right until you powdered it, huh? It's known risk of living with a cockatoo. It's okay, bud. Actually, Max said no to Brian a couple of times. He was getting a bit tired. He was super sweet with a number of people. Who'd you sit on, Max? You sat on Brian from Lethbridge. Came all the way to Calgary, right? You sat on your friend Brian from Calgary. Brian from Fozzie and Friends. You sat on my friend Kyle. You sat on Kyle from Gizmo. You visited with Dorothy. Who else did you visit with, Pumpkin? Oh, yeah, you sat on so many people. Yeah. Jocelyn says Cinnamon got his wings clipped. Yeah, that's sometimes a really good idea. The one thing I always caution people with wing clipping, even clipped birds have amazing power of flight when they are scared or startled. Now, you notice when, well, that was loud. You noticed when I reached my hand over top of Max's head and he was not expecting it. Max, can I come? Can I come? Yeah, he was expecting it this time, but I snuck up on him. And he kind of jumped because suddenly there was no hand and suddenly there was a hand. He was probably focused on something else and suddenly he had a bit of a surprise. And what he did there is he did just grab on with his feet extra tight. And, you know, because when he fluffed, he lost his balance a little bit and he just grabbed, which was great. But some birds, when startled, they're going to extend their wings, they're going to give a flap, and a scared bird has amazing powers of flight. Could end up on something like the street over there, or on a rooftop, or in front of a dog or something. That's one of the reasons we always wear a harness. I'm pretty confident Max is not going to go for a flap of any sort, but accidents happen. A lot of birds that are lost, somebody says, oh, I know my bird, he's clipped, I didn't expect this to happen. Somebody, he was out in the house, somebody opened a door and he flew off. So, you have to be extra careful. Sometimes clipping is a good idea because it can restrict the amount of flight. It can help reduce the odds of a bird flying into a window in your house, for example. It can help reduce the odds of a bird flying out of a door. But it's not a substitute for a harness, and it's not a substitute for being cautious with doors. It's just a little bit of an insurance policy, right, Max? It's a very nice insurance policy. Max is fully flighted. All of my birds are fully flighted. Right, Max? One thing, though, even if your bird's clipped, yep, there goes another police car. I don't know if that's the same one or not, but maybe they're looking for you, Max. Maybe it's your new friend looking for you. Max is just looking at me. Yeah. Yeah, but even if your bird's clipped at home, be super cautious with things like ceiling fans. A ceiling fan seems innocuous, but there are an astonishing number of birds who are injured by flying into a ceiling fan inside the house. Quite often, the bird will not realize that it's spinning. Like if it's turned off, it's not really a big deal. But if it's spinning, the bird may not realize that it is something solid that is moving. A lot of birds have flown into ceiling fans, and quite often it can end up in a lot of trauma for a bird, because that spinning blade, if that hits the bird, it's spinning at a good clip, the bird's moving at a good clip. It's the same as walking up to the bird with a baseball bat and just having a wild swing. That would really hurt, wouldn't it, Max? So ceiling fans, big danger that a lot of people don't think about. I've got a fan upstairs in my bedroom. It's only turned on at night. Actually, the light and the fan quit working after the roofing, so something got shaken loose. Might be the fan just quit working, might be, well, the light's not working either, might be a lead. I just need to climb up there and see what's going on. Might even be just the battery, because if the remote's not turned on, the fan doesn't work. So I really should just grab a ladder and hop up there and see what's going on. Right, Max? Yeah, I know. Today is a good time to do a little bit of work, right? Yeah. But yeah, so be cautious of that as well. So yeah, we were talking about safety. Yeah, they do have some ceiling fans that actually have cages around them. And those are the safe ones to have around birds because you can protect the bird from it. But otherwise, use a floor fan with one of the cages around it that keep fingers and everything else from getting in. Right, Max? Yeah, maybe Max can help. He'll supervise me and he'll watch carefully. Whew. Oh, that breeze is glorious, Max. Yeah, so it is Father's Day. We've done some Father's Day fun videos in the past, and we're going to share out a few of those today. So something to send to your father. Wish him a really happy Father's Day. Father's Day, quite honestly, snuck up on me. I didn't realize it was coming, and I don't know how that happened. I'm usually on the ball with these things. Right, Max? I did see my dad yesterday after the barbecue, and I did bring him a gift. I did something super, super quick. I basically brought him a basket of treats. Now, my dad is 89, so he is definitely getting older. He turned 89 a couple of weeks ago. And, he doesn't need a lot of stuff. Right, Max? So you're always trying to find experiences or something that's not just going to cause clutter. So I know some of the things that he likes that are treats he does not buy himself. And I basically just put together a basket of food treats for him that I know he's going to enjoy. I made sure I tucked a few things in there that my mother's going to enjoy. As we unpacked it, it's always tough when the parents get older, right? Because my mom kept commenting, and one thing Dad loves is sauerkraut, and Mom never lets him buy it. It's bizarre. It really is. So yeah, I picked it up for him. And, Mom's first thing when she saw that come out of the gift basket is, I don't like sauerkraut. It's okay, Mom. Dad likes it. And I don't like that kind of cheese. That's okay, Mom. Dad likes it. And then I made sure to point out for her that I did put in some things that she likes eating. It may not necessarily be Dad's favorite treat, but I included some things that she likes eating because this gives Dad the opportunity to share with her, and it's going to, it makes it a lot more inclusive, So yeah, so that's what I put together. Sharon says her dad passed 7 years ago at 87. Yeah. And Carrie's dad's turning 79 in October. It is kind of tough. I'm really aware what the odds are. I've looked at Stats Canada and done a lot of research just to understand what are the odds of somebody reaching this age. Guys tend to pass away earlier than women. And, and I know, Dad is already well past the average, right, buddy? And there are some guys who can live to be 100. And there's a lot who do not. So I'm always super, super mindful of that. And I like to think very, very carefully, sort of make the most of the time that we've got. Right, buddy? I know, Max. I know. Oh, where do you want to go? You want to... Oh, you want squid cheese. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're just looking at the way he's standing. He's just kind of fluffed in a little bit. He looks pretty happy. Yeah. Oh, is that a good scritchy? Can I go after that? Oh, there's that feather I wanted earlier. That pinny. Yeah, look at that pin feather. There's a little bit from it right there. Yeah. As I said, new feathers come in little shafts, and they're sort of like the aglet of shoelace. And Max just needs a little bit of help. Now, if you're ever helping preen a bird, do not, and I repeat, do not pull that out because it's attached to a nerve and a new feather. All I'm doing is I'm taking my fingers and I'm just pinching and breaking it up gently. This is my beak. This is my beak. I'm not a bird, but this is my beak. And another bird would just take that little bit of a feather shaft and just beak it gently at the end to see if it's ready to crumble and fall apart. And Max can take care of a lot. Top of his head, he can't get quite as well. There's a couple of little ones up there, but you just basically, just gently roll it between the fingers or just gently pinch it. And if it's ready, it'll come off. If it's not ready and you start pinching too far down on it and it hurts, your bird will let you know about it. Yeah, it's happened before. I've accidentally pulled them out. Usually something's not ready to go and I'm pinching it and the bird says, hey, that hurts, pulls away. I jump, grab harder, and pull away myself, and neither of us are happy. It's not the end of the world, but try not to do that, right, Max? Yeah. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Oh, your feathers look so good today. I always look best after a bath. Bianca, yes. Coffee with a side of cockatoo dust. It's gourmet. Yeah. That good, buddy? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we're back in a little bit of sun. You know, you can sort of see here that the shade pattern is just sort of passing over top of us a bit. Yeah, Max. Oh, there's another one. Oh, you know who else she sat on? It was Brian's daughter. She's in town for the summer. She's a really smart girl. She's becoming a vet. Yeah. Yeah. And she's never held a bird as big as you. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Oops. Let's just get a focus back. Oh my goodness, Jocelyn. Jocelyn says she's finished with her macaw jacket and she's doing an African grey for Kristen from Kristen's Chop Shop. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Hi, Alex. Hi, Addie. Oh, thunderstorms can be a lot of fun. Just as long as you're not outside caught in them. But, you know, there's something I love about sitting upstairs in the dark watching a good thunderstorm roll over. I mean, it's nature's light show. I do not appreciate thunderstorms, however, when they are accompanied with a side of hail. Yeah, you don't like that either, do you? But the flock usually does not mind a thunderstorm unless it takes out our power. Oh, last time we lost power, Tico was playing on the floor and he was playing with a paper bag. Yeah, I know I don't film Tico a lot because he's not always the biggest fan of cameras. But he was playing on the floor beside me with a paper bag, and he walked into the bag and he was playing around. And he managed to tip the bag upside down over on top of himself. So it got dark, and then it got really dark because suddenly this bag that just tipped over on top of him, all of the lights went out. And when I say all of the lights, I don't just mean lights inside the house. I mean lights inside the house, the street lights, every source of light, and it was suddenly pitch dark. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Took me a minute to figure out where I'd put down my phone so I could pull up a flashlight off of that. And then I got a few light sources going. Yeah, Max, it did. And after I had light sources going, I went looking for Tico and realized that he was inside the upside down bag. And I picked up the bag and he looked at me and he went, "What the heck just happened?" Because it's suddenly pitch dark in the house. There's just this little flashlight light. And I'm sure he thought I was having him on. So yeah, popped everybody back into the cage. Because, you know, if the power's out, that's the safest place for them. They know their way around the cage, even in the dark. And it's going to be the least scary place. Yeah. And then, since I still had cell service, I checked out what was going on with the power company. And unplanned outage, never good. Yeah. It's one of the reasons it's a good idea to keep your phone charged, just so you can check in on things like that. Right, Max? Went and looked outside for lights. It was pitch black at night. And, you know, your eyes are beginning to acclimatize, but you could really see what areas had light and what areas did not. And a good swank of the community was out. Yeah, Max. You're looking beautiful in the sun. Yeah, the Aussies call you cockies. Although Max is not an Australian cockatoo. The Moluccan cockatoos actually originate from the Maluku Islands in Indonesia. And I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. But it's a chain of... Oh dear, we just got a severe weather alert from Environment Canada. What's going on? Environment Canada has issued a severe thunderstorm watch. It'll be in effect from June 15th, 1 p.m. until June 15th, 10 p.m. Well, it's, this is why we got out early. And the timing of that, just as the sun ducks in behind that cloud there, right, Max? Yeah, it's suddenly got a little bit darker in here, out here, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, Bird Love made a peach and banana smoothie. Wouldn't that be good, Max? I wonder what else is in it. Yeah, if it's peach and banana, that would be good. You can't have any milk. Oh, honey, it's okay. Yeah, what you doing? What you doing? Let's flip the camera. Here, there we go. There's Mom. Yeah, Max said he wants to climb back onto me, so I'm just going to sit back with him. Hi. And I'm actually just going to grab the tripod. Folks, I'll just be a minute here with the tripod. Not my hat, honey. Are you becoming a hat thief again? Did anybody catch the short video I posted of the hat thief? Max was taking a picture with a new friend, and he thought their hat looked really good. Let's take that. And I think, let's see if we rotate that. Will that work? Oops. Tighten that a little bit. And Max, because I'm trying to tighten the cord. There. How's that? There. Okay, there you go. There's Max and Mom. Oh, you want to sit on my knee again? Okay, you can sit on my knee. That's a good spot to sit. That's a really good spot to sit. I know, Max. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hat thief. So what happened? We were out for a walk, and a really nice lady wanted to take a selfie with Max, and Max reached over and grabbed the hat, or tried to. But, he was trying to be really, really sly about it, just sort of leaned over a little closer and reached out with his beak, and it's like, no, Max, that's not yours. Maybe that's what the police are looking for you for, huh? Are they looking for you for being a hat thief? You're such a good boy, honey. You're such a good boy. Such a good boy. Oh, where'd the sun go? Close up of Max. Yeah, Max, what else we got here? I got some new folks coming. I want to say hello to everybody who's joining us. Oh, the other thing I should check here. Yeah, we still got lots of power. Yeah. Definitely not a government drone, right, Max? What do you think of the hat? Oh, this is my black hat. You don't get to chew on my black hat. He's gone after my red hat a few times. Black hat he's not as interested in, which is good, because this is one of my favorite hats. Hats are not cheap, right, Max? Like this one. Oh, my hair's a mess. It's got a nice band. It's got a nice shape. It fits well. Gives me a little bit of shade from the sun. I know. So, Max, what are we doing today? Einstein has a hatchiversary party, and I thought you could join and watch his hatchiversary party. And we could have some popcorn and some eggies. Yes, that would be good. Be really good, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, Tico helped pick out a little gift for Einstein, and we're also doing a donation to Parrot Rescue for Einstein. Kind of special, right? Right? Yes. Oh boy, little scritchies. Whoa, big bumblebee. I've got a bumblebee nest underneath the patio here, and because it is bumblebees and not wasps or yellow jackets, I'm a little bit concerned about it. but not enough to hire an exterminator, because an exterminator would kill the bees, and we need to support the bees. It so far seems like it's pretty small, and I'm just getting the occasional bumblebee flying out of it and returning. And my understanding is that the bumblebee nests can be pretty small, unlike yellow jacket nests, which can be thousands of yellow jackets. Yellow jackets, hornets, wasps, those ones are the mean ones that will sting you without giving two thoughts to it. You look at them cross-eyed and they'll sting you, right, Max? Bumblebees, usually if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. And I'm hoping Max leaves them alone. Hi, Michael. Holly, so glad to hear we brighten your day. Yeah. Oh, big scritchies. Yeah, little scritchies under there. Yeah. You let your friend Helen scritch you under your wing, didn't you? You just looked at her, lifted up a wing, and she said, "What's he doing that for?" And he said, "He wants you to scritch under his wing." Yeah, that was pretty special. Yeah. Good job, Max. You're doing great. Yeah, sun's back out. Yeah, not a lot of clouds in the sky just yet, but I think they'll be rolling in. I'm just going to pick up the phone so I can read comments for a minute. So Michael's joining us. Holly, we are so glad. We're so fortunate to have Max. He's such a doll. Yeah, Burb Love says, been stung so much she gets anaphylactic shock. That is always scary. We do have anaphylactic allergies to a few things. We've had bad reactions to stings in the past, never anaphylactic, but I know exactly where my EpiPen is. And it is within a very short run. But yeah, that's definitely scary. Yeah, it's definitely scary. Because a lot of foods you can avoid, and it's, but wasps, yellow jackets and whatnot, very hard to avoid because sometimes they've got a mind of their own. You're not a doll, you're a bird. Okay, Max, we can do that. Oh no, Blue had a crash. Sharon, how are you trying to stop the bleeding? Yeah, like if it's it's one of those weird things when you've got a broken feather. If it's bleeding, it's a feather that's still in development. But sometimes a cracked feather, sometimes you need to take them to the vet to have the feather pulled. Sometimes you don't. Usually, what I do is I evaluate it. If it is bleeding, like water running through a straw, vet immediately, do not stop, do not pass go, do not collect $200. If it's cracked and there's just a tiny bit of blood, I'll use something to stop that. And, quite often I'll use something like cornstarch and just pack it in around the feather. Then I evaluate the location. Where is it? Is there only one wing feather? That feather is cracked and it's likely to get bumped. Or is it one wing feather and it is surrounded by other feathers that are going to support it? What are the odds that that feather is going to get bumped again and start bleeding? Next question is, am I around to observe? If I work out of the home or something and I'm not going to be around to observe, that bird's definitely going somewhere where he can be observed. And I'm probably going to drop him to the vet to have that feather dealt with by the vet. But if it's just a small crack, it's not actively bleeding, and it's because it does take a while for blood to clot in birds. They can bleed out very quickly, but I just make sure that I am observing it. Blood feathers. What's the first aid? The first aid for a blood feather, and this is one of the reasons why they usually tell you to head for the vet. If the bird is upset and excited and flapping their wings around, your house is going to look like the Amityville Horror has been there. We've had that happen once, haven't we, Max? It was horrible. It was devastating for me, devastating for Max. Everything ended up fine. But what ends up happening with a blood feather? Feathers when they come in, the base of the feather, if you think about a quill pen, It's got that long tube on it. And when feathers are developing, that tube has a blood vessel in it. And if it cracks, it's sort of like a straw, and it holds that blood vessel open, like if it breaks off entirely. And then you've sort of got an open spot that's bleeding. The only way to deal with it if it's completely cracked off and not clotting is to basically pull it. And pulling a feather is not something for the faint of heart, especially not a blood feather, because it's usually a big wing or tail feather, and you have to hold the bird, you have to use pliers, and you have to pull. And while you're doing so, the bird is going to be trying to remove one or two of your fingers, because they're not going to appreciate it. That feather is already pretty sensitive. And once it's pulled, you have to put some pressure on the area where it was pulled from, because the blood vessel inside, when you pull that feather, that blood vessel is going to break, and you need to hold it to help it clot. So that's usually why we say vet, because most people, it's not an easy one to deal with, right, Max? Yeah, it's traumatic for the bird, traumatic for you, but if there's no vet around and you have to, you do what you have to, right, Max? Fingers can be, well, you have 10 fingers. You don't need all of them, right? Yeah, Max. But it is something to be aware of. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but if a feather's damaged, usually it will, it'll stop, and it has an active, it's a blood feather and it's damaged, and it's not actively bleeding. It's either going to heal itself or it's going to close off and fall off by itself. But if you've got an active bleeder and it's bleeding significantly, that's something to deal with. Because remember, birds don't have a lot of blood in them, right, Betty? Yeah. First aid, they do have some quick stop. Quick stop can work, but it can be caustic. And as a rule, things like quick stop, you don't want to use them anywhere. Like if it's an option, quick stop can burn the bird. It can be hard on the bird. It can hurt. Usually I do have some septic powder, but what I'll use first is cornstarch. And I'll try the cornstarch first, because if I can help create a clot with cornstarch, perfect. Right, Max? Yeah. But always talk to your vet, and always see what your vet wants. Right now, Max is not ripping out feathers. He is preening himself. He's making himself look pretty. Just like you would comb your hair, Max is running his feathers through his beak, just like hair would run through a hairbrush. Right, Betty? He's not pulling anything. Birds do naturally molt, so that means that they lose feathers on a regular basis as new feathers grow in. But quite honestly, have you ever looked at your hairbrush? How many hairs are in that hairbrush? You constantly have new hair growing too, and you're constantly molting hair. If you've got a dog or a cat, yeah, you know that they shed. No different, no different. Yeah, he's making himself look pretty. Yeah. Hello, you don't have to call us Mister, it's just Max. Yeah, we actually have a lot of Max's feathers here. I'm going to give you a little secret. If you are ordering anything from our Etsy store and you are in Canada, let us know that you'd like a feather, and if we can, we'll tuck one into the package for you. We cannot do that if you're shipping something internationally, which includes the States or England or anywhere else. You're not supposed to send bird feathers over the border, and that's because it could be seen as trafficking in exotic pets or parts thereof. Max, we've got a bee that's buzzing. I want you to remain calm. I'll remain calm. Mr. Bee, go away. We don't want you here. I know you have a nest under the patio, but we don't want you here. Okay, he's gone, buddy. Oh, he's back. He's back. You're going to remain calm, Max. You're going to watch him. But I'm hoping he leaves you alone. I don't know where he just went. I'm reminding myself it's a bee, not a wasp, and I don't have to panic. Yeah. No, but the nest under the patio, it only seems like it has a few bumblebees in it. And I understand that the bumblebee nests, some of them are really, really small, and I'm hoping that is the case. Can't really tell, but there's actually a couple of really distinctive individuals that have been flying out of it. Different patterns on, I don't know, do bumblebees have fur? Like, what do you know, they look fuzzy. You know, I guess it's probably a type of fur. I don't know what that's called. If anybody in the comments knows, let me know. But we do seem to have sort of a couple of different individuals here. And it's kind of fascinating to watch. I'm not super happy with having them on the patio or under the patio, but apparently they're going to move on. I did see one remedy which included some vinegar around the entrance to the nest. And the thought being, if they don't like one entrance to the nest, they'll dig out another one. And I don't know how big the nest is, but I did put down some vinegar, but they still seem to be using the same entrance, so that didn't work. I don't want anything that's going to harm them, because bees, we need our bees. There's too much toxicity around the bees already. Right, Max? Okay. Holly asks, are we on TikTok? No, we are not. There's a couple of reasons for that. First off is, on our previous job, we were not allowed to have TikTok on any device that we used to connect to work with. And there's some very good reasons for that. I did, to get onto TikTok, I was not going to buy a new phone just to do that. That would be really, really expensive. TikTok, if you're in Canada, you do not get any revenue. There's no revenue sharing, so there was not even a hope of that paying us back for any of the effort we made on TikTok, or paying or covering the costs of another device. We're already on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Facebook and YouTube are our primary platforms. And we put a lot of work and hours in there, and we just keep putting more hours into the platforms that we do have. But we did think about it. If you've been watching for a while, you know that I am currently looking for my next opportunity. I've been applying for jobs, I've been interviewing, trying to see what that next job is going to look like, right, Max? And there's another loud car. And I don't know, like, if I end up with another job dealing with sensitive materials where that is a concern, I don't want to have to turn around and get myself a new device. That would really be a pain in the keister, right, Max? Yeah. So right now it is an unknown. It's an unknown. So, you know, TikTok, I also, all of the privacy concerns and everything else, I have a few reservations about the platform myself, and I'm not sure if I would want to go there on my primary phone. So it's sort of that catch-22, right? But we're on a lot of platforms anyhow. You're watching us right now on YouTube. A lot of folks watch us on Facebook. If you are new to the channel, I want you to balk up in the comments. Let us know you're here. Here we go. Just going to flip that. There we go. One more fire truck. So I don't know what's happening in the community today. Saw a fire truck drive past. What was that? About 40 minutes ago. We've seen a couple of police driving around the neighborhood. I wonder if we had an incident in the neighborhood. I'll have to check out the community Facebook page and find out if anybody's talking about it. Usually people are asking, does anybody know about X, which tells you that there's been an incident. Yeah, Max? but I am on the main road here. They do have, I'm in a brand new area, a relatively new area. I shouldn't say brand new. I've lived here for 10 years. It's a relatively new area at the edge of the city. And they're still building out the area. They still continue to expand it. One of the major roads that's been taking a lot of traffic off the road out front of us is closed while they are doing some utility work along it, and it's closed for a couple of weeks. So we've got extra traffic out front. So we're now seeing more of the emergency vehicles out front. We used to just see them out there. Well, we saw them all the time until that road had opened, right, Max? And yeah, Max likes the activity out front. Yeah. Checking comments. Bianca says TikTok has accessibility issues for her. There are definitely so many platforms. Holly, it was super nice to meet you. Emily says, I think bees have fine hairs. That makes sense. Hairs, not fur. But are hairs fur? We're going to ask that question. Is a hamburger a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? And then the internet goes wild. Yeah, Danita sends feathers over the border. She does. She could get into trouble with that. So we're actually super cautious about that. It is a potential risk. But yeah, if you're in Canada and you want a max feather, even if you order a sticker from our website, from our Etsy store, and let us know that you'd like a feather, one could be tucked into an envelope for you. It'll probably be, if you just have a sticker or something, it's just going to be one of the smaller feathers. Right, Max? But yeah, we could do that for you. Etsy store, we do ship worldwide. Merch is reasonably well priced. Occasionally I have people say, well, I could get a t-shirt cheaper from Walmart. Absolutely you could. But Walmart has the ability to order 10,000 t-shirts at a time. I'm usually ordering only a couple at a time. We don't have that same ability to do bulk manufacturing. So costs are definitely going to be higher when it comes to something like, oh boy, Max, what are you doing? Oh, you want scrunchies? Okay, we can do scrunchies. We'll shift that. I don't have the same ability to do bulk, and it's definitely a specialty product. So yeah, but I think our pricing is pretty reasonable. We got some really fun stuff. One of the fun pieces that we have on our Etsy store is some magnetic bird poetry. Now, it is similar to we've all seen fridge poetry before, that just with squares you can make words and join them up into poetry. And I mean, I think fridge poetry is a lot of fun. So what is Parrot fridge poetry? It comes in a little metal tin, and you can play with the poetry on the tin. It comes with a magnet of Max and a number of word balloons. And the word balloons are appropriate for a flock, and it's a lot of the common words that our birds say. Max Awesome is in there. You get not one but two box, so we can go bok with Max. You've got Tikal's Hello, Tico's Whisper, and a whole lot more. And they're really fun. What it comes with is one Max, a full Max magnet, and that Max magnet, if you already have that magnet, or if you would prefer a different magnet, you can have us substitute any other magnet of a bird, one of our birds, from the Etsy store. So we try and make it as customizable as possible. Has a little sleeve around it. It is official Max merch, and it comes from Max Central. If you are overseas and you are concerned about shipping costs, don't worry, it's not that expensive. If you don't want the metal tin, we can do it in a small... Whoops. Oh, you okay, Max? Come here. Come on up. Uppity up. Up. You okay? I scared you. That was my fault. I shifted and... Oops. We just lost a feather. I'm going to pick up this feather, because we talk about feathers all the time. There we go. Sorry, folks. What I did is I shifted, and I had Max sitting on my knee, and he was on, and my foot was up on a chair. That's how I get my knee up to sit with him. And I shifted, and the chair moved, and my leg moved, and the bird waved his wings, and the world moved for him. So I don't know how much of that you just caught, but he just flapped over and landed on the sidewalk, and then looked at me as if to say, "What the heck? We're gonna wash your feet, because there might have been wild birds out there." Okay, you can preen that. No, we're not gonna preen our feet right now. We're gonna wash your feet before you preen them. We were talking about feathers earlier, and we've got one right here. This one's been on the ground, so Max is not gonna have it. But that's the feather shaft I was talking about. That one is a feather that was ready to molt. And I'm just going to set this up for a second. There we go. If I hold it up against me. That feather was ready to molt. You know it's not a blood feather because you see how it's pretty much clear in the shaft. Let's go here. There we go. If I have got a dark background, it's easier to see. You can see how that feather's pretty clear in the shaft. I'm going to show you something because I can see this little ridge on the feather. That is skin level. That much of the feather is actually embedded inside of the bird, and that's a little bit of the skin just around. That feather was ready to come out. Max probably bumped it, and when he flapped, he gave it a good flap. That feather was ready to molt. So that's not a problem for that feather. That was a flight feather, and I know it's huge. Max's feathers are quite huge. But when we were talking about blood feathers, we're concerned when this part of the feather breaks, and you can see how far embedded it is. If that breaks and there's a blood vessel in there because the feather's forming, that becomes a big problem. If a feather breaks, it's not bleeding, and there's no blood source in there, even if it's just sort of hanging oddly, it's fine. The bird can take care of it. Not a big deal. You know, it will come out eventually, and if it's bothering the bird, they'll take care of it with their beak. But yeah. So, feather there. We'll put that down. So why don't we plant that feather there? It's pretty. There you go, Max. Oh boy, what was that, Max? Huh? That was scary. I know, that was so scary. Bianca says Starbuck just woke up. Hey, I just woke up too. I did not expect that. Max did not expect that. And I know you missed most of the flight and you just caught me sort of chasing Max. At that point, the camera was just along for a ride. I was not too concerned about that. I was more concerned about getting over to Max. Right, buddy? Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, because we said, no, we're not going to chew on our feet. We're going to wash our feet. We are going to wash the feet. We're going to wash the feet. Well, folks, if you're new, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you give us a follow, give us a like, leave us a comment. We appreciate all of you who hung out with us today. Make sure you stay tuned this week. We'll have some videos from the Parrot barbecue. Lots and lots of fun stuff from that. We'll have all of those coming up this week. We'll have some shorts and we'll have some long form. We'll post those on Facebook as well. We've got Max's Hatchiversary party happening on July the 1st. July the 1st, I think, is middle of the week. So we're going to probably have the party on the weekend, but July 1st is the actual hatch day. We're not touching our feet until they're washed. Because you were walking on the ground, honey. And we've got wild birds around here. And we've got migrating birds around here. I know. We've got the fundraiser for Parrot Rescue happening. And I see Sharon, our moderator, Raising Cane, just posted that link. Thank you for that. Please give them a little bit of support. That is Max's GoFundMe for them. And let's see if we can make a big difference to Parrot Rescue. Our friend Einstein is celebrating his hatchiversary. He's got a big party happening in a couple of hours online. So if you're looking for something to do, come hang out. We'll be there, and some of our friends too. We'll just be watching though. We're not dual streaming with him. What else, Max? What else we got happening? I said not the foot. I know, it's so hard when I say not the foot. Not the foot, hun. Gonna wash the feet. Mom, you're too cautious. It's just my foot. Avian flu is a thing, honey. And we're gonna wash our feet before we put them in our beak, okay? We'll wash them, and you'll be happy. Yeah. You'll be happy. So, Max, can I get a buck? Can I get a buck? No box to give? There are no box to give, huh? Well, there we go. That was a nice buck. Not the foot. You can wave, you can buck, but you can't put in your beak. Because I said so. I'm going to wash them first. The chair's not going anywhere now. It's now against something. That was totally my fault. Yeah, nobody expected a bird flight in the middle. And you saw all that dust when he flapped his wings, didn't you? Just a big dust cloud. What do you think, Max? Thunderstorms this afternoon. That was a sparrow. It invaded your airspace. It flew overhead. Oh, and there's a dog now, huh? Well, folks, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. Hi, Eva. Yeah, we're just ending the stream right now, but I want to wish everybody a wonderful afternoon. Hope you enjoy the weather, and we will talk to everybody soon. Bok, everybody. There we go. We're gonna